Welcome back, everyone. Dustin here again, Average Guy Hi-Fi, with another speaker review for you. So I've been kind of doing a lot of subwoofers. I even did my little office system that I just picked up. But now I've got some speakers that I've been dying to get my hands on. I've been in this hobby for 20 years. I've been probably trying to get these speakers for 10, 12 years, somewhere in that range. It is from a company that I've definitely read so many good things about, and I was super excited to get them, and they lived up to my expectations. But before we jump into that, I just want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. I set a goal for this channel when I started it. I wanted 1,000 subscribers in 12 months. Right now, we're at 11 months of me doing this, and I have 3,200 subscribers. Actually, that just happened. 3,200 just happened right before I hit record on this video. So the support's been great. For you guys that aren't familiar with this channel, I buy stuff most of the time. It's on my used markets, Facebook marketplaces, OfferUps, Craigslist, and I buy open box deals at Best Buys. I support some of the local audio stores whenever they got good deals. I'm just kind of a bargain hunter. It allows me to get gear that's well above my my pay grade, basically. But the reason I wanted to do this is just get really good deals on stuff and then share it with people out there, so they don't have to just go into a store and get kind of the low end stuff. Maybe if they don't have a lot of money, if they're new to the hobby, start focusing on some of these brands. A brand like this that kind of goes under a lot of people's radar, sometimes you can get some really good deals on. And again, that's kind of, I'm using my money. I'm purchasing this equipment. I'm selling it for what I paid for it. Sometimes I add a little bit if I have to travel a long ways. I drove to Eastern Washington, which was a crazy drive for some speakers. But sometimes I'll tack on a little bit of money for my time. But I'm doing this I got a day job. It keeps me very busy. But for a single guy that's really into home audio and all that stuff, this has really been a blessing. So you guys, thank you for all the support. 3,200 subscribers, 11 months in. Totally blew my expectations out of the water, so it must be resonating with you. So thank you guys again. So now that that's out of the way, this set of speakers, some of you out there that know speakers and a little bit obsessed like I am, you already know what these are. This is a speaker brand, Ascend Acoustics. And everything that I've ever read about Ascend Acoustics, they've always been known for, from people that I really respect in the industry, a lot of reviewers, they're known for having very high quality sounding speakers that compete with speakers well above what they cost, especially when it comes to home theater and like video games, stuff like that. These things, I just ended up selling that set of M&K S150 THX speakers, which are really, really expensive speakers. And I put these in place of those. So they had a huge shoes to fill. But I'll be honest with you guys, before we get to the review section of it, they did a very, very good job, especially considering their price point. So what I have here is an Ascend Acoustics CMT-340. The package deal that I ended up picking up had 3 of these. So it's the left speaker, the right speaker, and the center channel speaker. And it came with the 2 of the matching pedestal stands for these speakers. I didn't want to lug them in here because they're filled with about 60 pounds of sand each. So I'll show them over there when I show you guys the video of these speakers playing. So it came with 3 of those, 2 of the pedestals, and it also came with 2 of the bookshelf speakers, which are the CMB-170s. They use the same woofer, which is a 6.5-inch polygel woofer. And they also use the same tweeter, 27mm soft dome tweeter. The sensitivity rating is 92 dB, which is very efficient because some brands will inflate their numbers. I'm not going to name names, but many of you out there already know this. But from a company like this, they actually put frequency charts and everything like that on their website, so you can just read what it is. The claimed frequency response, which I totally believe, 92 dB for the CMT-340s and 91 dB for the CMB-170s. And again, the 27mm soft dome tweeter, 6.5-inch polygel woofers just makes for a beautiful combination. They're both 8 ohms. The MSRP on these, I didn't exactly have the MSRP, but somewhere around when they came out. These are about 12 years old. So I reached out to Ascend Acoustics. They were very kind in answering a lot of my questions, even over the holiday season, very responsive. That's always a big plus. I deal with a lot of manufacturers, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Very responsive. Good job, Ascend Acoustics. I enjoyed my communication with you, and thank you for the information. These ones had around an MSRP of about $550. They could still be had for around that price if you catch them on their sale. The CMB-170 is right around $348 MSRP. So the CMT-340s are about 21 inches tall, or this is a center channel, or wide, depending on the orientation. They're about 7.5 across, and then about 10 inches deep. The CMB-170 is, spin it around here so you guys can see it. It is 12 inches tall, about 9 inches across, and 10 inches deep with the grill, just to give you guys an idea on size. These weigh about 26 pounds each, and the bookshelves weigh about 14 pounds each. So, you know, it's not a huge system or anything like that, but really, if you guys follow this channel, I'm a huge fan of having the left channel, the right channel, and the center channel be exactly the same, and this type of set is just ideal for that. And the bookshelves really surprised me too. I heard things in soundtracks that I listened to hundreds of times, you know, over the years, testing speakers, and these were producing sounds that I actually hadn't heard before. So very impressed with this entire set. It really did a very good job. So now we're on to it, roughly, you know, all things considered, these being about $550, these being about $348 for the pair. And the pedestal stands, the 2 pedestal stands are about $180. That's roughly about $2,150 MSRP. So not cheap by any means, but again, with the sound that they produced, with the quality of the speakers, this is one of my top bargains. I would put this up there with Shure. You guys know how much I love Shure subwoofers. I think for the price per bang per buck, as they say, I think that Shure and Ascend Acoustics would be a match made in heaven. You could build a beautiful sounding home theater system on a little bit of a tighter budget, especially if you can get stuff used. But feel free to reach out to Ascend Acoustics. Again, they're very responsive. They even have a forum on their website, which is really cool, from owners, which is another resource that I've been kind of reading into. So we're going to go over there. Oh, here's the grill too. Sometimes I forget to show the grill. But just, again, these are about 12 years old. So nice quality grill, nothing too fancy, but gets the job done. And that guy just kind of has pegs, so it just kind of clips right into place there, holds nice and snug. I will show you guys something that a lot of people tend to do. So this is actually the top of the bookshelf speaker. You can see right there. So I was reading on the forums, and people were recommending that people put these things upside down orientation if they have to put them too high above the listening level. So there's holes drilled in the top there. So that is a little bit of a knock on it, but that's not Ascend's fault. That's an owner just installing them the way they want them installed, and then probably moved on to a more expensive set of speakers, and then I ended up with those holes in the top. Not all that noticeable, especially if you mount them up high. So the movie that we're going to use again for the kind of the demo portion of this video is, we'll just do The Matrix. It's always a good call, that lobby scene. You can like follow the tiles shooting off the pillars, the gunshots, the whole thing is just an awesome scene to test speakers. So let's go over there. We'll show you guys that clip. All right, everyone, we got the Ascend Acoustics speakers all set up. Again, my equipment is a Marantz SR7013 receiver. It's not powering anything because I'm using a Marantz MM7055 amplifier. And I'm also using the Panasonic DP820 Blu-ray player. So again, this is Matrix in 4K, Dolby Vision's on and all that stuff, so we'll get it going. That right there is the center channel stand that I was mentioning. So again, that's custom built by the person that I ended up buying these speakers from, so that'll be a nice little bonus to the next owner. Typically, I keep my center channel above the TV itself, but I just wanted to show you guys that is an option too, having stands put your center channel on. Obviously, it depends on your room and stuff. Ideally, your center channel would go in line with your LC, with your left and right speakers behind an acoustic transparent screen, but that's not really an option for me, and it's not really an option for a whole lot of people out there. So something like above the TV or below it, or even on a stand in front of everything, is a nice alternative. So here we go. Let's play the video for you guys, and then I'll walk around and show you the speakers in action. I am going to play these with the subwoofer engaged. Like I said, these speakers get nice and low, but I'm getting to the point now where I think that, give me some feedback on this, but I think playing them with the subwoofer will give you a little bit of a better idea, because the vast majority of people that are willing to shell out this kind of money for high quality speakers are going to have them augmented with a subwoofer or two. So the subwoofers that I'm using are just dual Martin Logan Dynamo 10-inch subwoofers, the original white woofer version, and I've actually got them up off the ground and they're behind the TV, so I'll show you guys those as well too. Great. I know people are going to complain about my positioning on them, but trust me, this is where this room gets the best frequency response. The ground isn't always the best place for a subwoofer, so look into that too. That's a whole nother topic, but be sure to look into those options as well. But here we go. Let's go ahead and play Matrix for you guys.
Stand back up.
All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that demo of the Matrix in 4K. Again, that scene with the lobby scene with the tiles coming off the pillars, the gunshots, the whole thing. It's a really good way of showing off your system. Speaking of that, Gene over at Audioholics is exactly right when he says listening to speakers recorded on a microphone playing through your speakers definitely isn't the best way to test audio gear. In fact, I'm recommending that you go listen to speakers whenever possible, especially if you're buying used. Subwoofers are notorious for amp failures. I had 6 subwoofers here that I was ashamed. I ended up buying a few of them. They were broken, ended up getting stuck with them. So just be sure to test out the equipment whenever possible. I know with COVID that makes things a little bit more difficult, but really that's the key. Your ears are different than my ears, which are different than my neighbor's ears. Everybody's ears are a little bit different. I also think that our brains interpret sound a little bit differently, kind of like that blue dress thing. You know, some people saw blue, you know. I think that there's a lot of nuance when it comes to audio, and that's why there's so much bickering back and forth on the forums and people that think that their system is the best, and then somebody else will be like, no, my system's the best. Well, we're supposed to have opinions on stuff, but really the only way to tell what you like the sound of is try to get out there and listen to this stuff. That's the best way. I show those videos because I don't want my videos just to be me sitting here, you know, scruffy looking like I am, rambling on too much. So it gives a little bit of a break in the action, and I'm just trying to do these videos the way that I would like to see them and the information that I would like to kind of get out of them. And I think that that's kind of resonating with a lot of people out there. But again, if you can, get out there and listen to them. That's the best way. Gene's exactly right. I think these type of videos annoy him a little bit, but I respect that guy. He's a wealth of knowledge, and he's great to have in the hobby. So now we're on to kind of my favorite portion of the videos. This is where I just give you guys my overall impressions of speakers, and then I give you guys the average guy hi-fi score at the end. So there's 5 categories that I rate speakers off of, 10 being the best, so 1 to 10. And then the categories are going to be quality, kind of the cabinet, the woofers, just the quality of the speaker in general. The sound, I know that's very important, especially when it comes to speakers. The MSRP rating, kind of where it's stacked up in the competition. The aesthetics, how the speakers looked in my room. And then also my price paid. And then we take those 5 categories, we average them out, and then I give you guys the average guy hi-fi score. So we'll just jump right into it. From a quality standpoint, I give them an 8.5 out of 10. Very well built cabinets. There's internal bracing in them. I saw some pictures online where people had them opened up so you can kind of see. Very well built. They're not going to have like anything that's going to really separate them from a quality perspective. But you can tell this is one of those very well thought out speaker systems that put the emphasis on how they sound more than like adding fancy materials, more than like adding fancy looks and stuff like that. Very good score, 8.5 out of 10, very high quality. The only kind of complaint that I would have is that the laminate is starting to peel a little bit in areas, but that's probably more due to where they were stored. Humidity, things like that play a major role. So it could have been previous ownership, so I won't fault them too much on that. Sound. Probably the most important category to you guys. Yeah, I kind of like this 5-category system because it's all a little bit important, but sound is definitely towards the top there. 9.5 out of 10. The mid bass, the impact, they dig nice and low, especially those CMT-340s. The bass response was nice quality. I think that you guys know this already if you follow this channel. I think everything needs a subwoofer, especially for home theaters and video games. They will require a subwoofer just because they don't go all that deep. All the specs and everything are going to be in my description, like always, as well too, along with some additional thoughts. It takes me about as long to fill that description out as it does for me to sit, listen to these things, and make these videos. So I hope people are getting an opportunity to check that out. 9.5 out of 10 when it comes to sound. Just really, really killer. Home theater. I mean, the best compliment that I can give these speakers are it sounded the most like a home theater out of just about any speakers that I've owned. I've had some where I kind of like the sound a little bit more, but when you factor in the price, when you factor in how they sound with movie soundtracks and stuff like that, these are very, very high rated. I've only given out, I think, 1 or 2 10s over all these videos, so 9.5 is a very good score on my channel. Well done, Ascend Acoustics. MSRP, another 9.5. Anytime you could pick up a speaker package, it's $2,150 around there, is not an inexpensive speaker set. But when you factor in the performance and what it can hang with, those M&K S150 THXs, a little bit of a different sound, but it just, again, it really, really hangs with those quite well, and those are much more expensive speakers. So, I gave a 9.5 out of 10 when it comes to the MSRP value because I truly think that this probably is up there with the shoe subwoofers of the world, where when you performance and you don't care about having anything flashy and you don't need fancy materials, they just nailed it. 9.5 out of 10 when it comes to the MSRP pricing. The aesthetics, I gave them an 8. They're pretty basic looking. It has that black laminate material over the top of them. I do like the Polygel woofers, the gray and the black and all that. They're not going to knock your socks off. The grill material is not anything super fancy, but they look good in your room. The one thing that I probably would skip on if it didn't come with the package, I'm sure that is those pedestal stands. In my room, it made those CMT-340s look a little bit too heavy. So I'd probably go with something like a nice sturdy stand with a thinner pedestal because my room is so small. In a dedicated home theater, I'd probably stick with those stands, but visually my room needs to kind of not have too much thing that's big and clunky, and with that pedestal stand makes it look a little bit clunky in my room. 8 out of 10 when it comes to the aesthetics. Overall, very good looking speakers, just they're not anything real fancy. They're just kind of your basic looking stuff. When it comes to my price paid, I gave them an 8.5. I picked that speaker package up for $500. That included the 2 pedestals for the left and right. That included the 3 LCRs. That included the 2 bookshelf speakers. And it also included that custom-made center channel stand that I showed you over there. So the person that I'm going to sell this package to will get all that stuff, and I'm going to list it for $500 as well. So again, just trying to pass these deals on to hobby. Sorry, I can't ship things. But really, really well thought out system, and my price paid $500. You're going to be really hard pressed to find better sounding speaker package. They are out there. I've seen deals. That's the reason I didn't rate them a little bit higher, maybe a 9, because I've gotten killer deals, as a lot of you guys know. So 8.5 out of 10 when it comes to quality, 9.5 when it comes to sound, 9.5 when it comes to the MSRP pricing, 8 when it comes to the aesthetics, 8.5 when it comes to my price paid. That is 44 out of 50, which is an 88% average guy hi-fi score. Very happy with these speakers. Be sure to check them out. Their customer service was great. The sound quality is phenomenal. The new ones are supposed to be a little bit of a step up when it comes to the lower frequencies. And again, the newer version has a SE. They're the CMT-340 SEs or the CMB-170s. 170 SEs. So the SE version is the newest version. The ones that I have are the originals, and they came out about 12 years ago. So they even said it in the message that they sent me. You know, everything was working so well with the quality and the sound that they didn't change a whole lot, but what they made improvements on, a little bit smoother frequency response, and they dig a little bit deeper than the originals. So 88 out of 100 is a very good score. Well done, Ascend Acoustics. I'm on to the next. This little guy right here, some of you already recognize it, but this is a Polk PSW 111 subwoofer. That's one of the pieces that I got up here, but I'm honestly, if I should show you guys behind the scenes, I'm like, I feel like speakers are going to start falling on me. I have to like carve out a tunnel to make this video so it doesn't look too clunky in the background. But I've got a lot of good content coming up here. Pretty good ideas for this channel as well. We got to incorporate that logo. I got to come up with a way to get all of my scores kind of listed for you guys so you don't have to click on each video. So there's some things in the progress. I was really just trying to get through this year, put out a video a week, see how the growth was, and now that I know that there is some backing behind it, I'm going to be giving it my best effort. Again, my day job takes precedent, but at nighttime, single dude, love home audio. This has been a real blessing for me, especially during COVID times. This has just been great having you guys along for the ride. So again, my name is Dustin, and the name of the channel is Average Guy HiFi. If you got friends out there that are getting into the hobby, maybe they don't have a lot of money to spend on stuff, steer my direction. Hopefully I can give them some advice, ask me questions, let me know the deals you got. This is working, so just come along with me for the ride. It'll be a lot of fun, I think. Thanks again, everyone.